Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
And Merry Christmas, everybody. That's 2 in a row. I'm in the Christmas spirit. There's no Scrooges here. Welcome to the BOF podcast. Well, there's one Scrooge, actually. He's in the room. Welcome back to the BOF podcast, episode 226. We are discussing the latest and greatest Batman Christmas special. Yes, that is right. Merry Little Batman has hit the streaming services, and we're going to talk about it. I've got Patrick Johnson here. He's a world famous Batman on Film from the Facebook group, and Jake's brother Micah. He's on the podcast. You know him as Micah Ramey. We're going to discuss Merry Little Batman. Boys, you into this? You feel this? You ready? What's going on?
Bells will be ringing.
Ooh,
sad news. Yeah, love
Take
it.
that, Holzman.
That was beautiful. What a way to start
thanks.
the show.
Yeah. Okay. So, first off, right off the gate, this movie, since it was announced, since it was introduced, has been somewhat of a controversial film because of the style of animation. It's bothered a lot of people. It's pissed off everyone. In fact,
Really?
how do you guys feel about the style of animation for this movie right off the bat? Because that is the hot topic of discussion. Patrick?
Well, I liked it because I like really exaggerated animation styles. So it goes with the humor of the film. So I thought it was hilarious. It reminds me of the old Squiggle Vision from Home Movies, that old cartoon way back in the day. And
That's way
Dr.
back in my
Katz.
day, man. Squiggle Vision.
Yeah. And
That's
Dr.
what I used to
Katz.
call the block channels when I used to try to watch Spice Network when I was a kid.
We could talk about that more later, but I have some experience in that area too.
That's funny. That's funny. Micah, style animation.
Animation, I liked. And I think
Okay.
Patrick's correct when he says it matches the tone of the film and what it's going for. Very goofy. So I have no problem with the animation whatsoever. And it's something new with Batman. So why would we not welcome that? You know, kind of a lot of DC animation can be very samey, I think. So getting something new and unique, I mean, why not? I have no problem with that whatsoever. But if you guys didn't know, I am the Ebenezer Scrooge here.
Oh yeah, totally. He's the
This is the first Christmas movie I've watched this year.
Oh, I've been on kind of a binge myself. This is like the 4th or 5th.
This is the first one. So
Patrick, where are you in terms of holiday movies watched?
Probably about the same, about 4 or 5 in. Yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, I got Die Hard in early this year. I did real early this month.
Very good. Very good.
But for me, the animation, like, it was never an issue. I don't know, like, cartoons always look different to me. Some cartoons try to be super realistic. Some cartoons look like Virtua Fighter. Some cartoons look like this. They're really weird. You know, like, I remember thinking Powerpuff Girls was drawn stupidly back in the day. Yeah, I just like, whatever. You know, like, it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. It's a cartoon. This doesn't bother me. The only time I would say that a style of a character I thought looked particularly weird, I thought Bane at certain points looked very weird. His
like
neck was
protruding
just
neck.
yeah, that was just a little funky for me. But outside of that, nothing took me out of the movie. The animation never bothered me at all. Batman having a beard also wasn't an issue. I don't know if it's just the tone of this movie or what it was, but we've seen Bruce Wayne have beards various times in live action. I don't remember if I've actually seen it in animation before. I'm trying to think. I don't know if BTAS did it. I didn't watch a whole lot of Justice League action. I don't know what they did. So this seems to be a first there as well. And to be honest, I kind of thought it was funny, the whole intimidation game. Like, if it was there for just the one gag, it worked and it didn't bother me. I don't know about you guys.
No, didn't bother me. I
No?
caught the nod to Batman Begins. Yeah.
I mean, personally, I was thinking Justice League 17 when Affleck was shaving on the plane, but that's that's neither here nor there. Depending.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I looked that too far into it. I just thought the beard. I mean, it fit the movie. Batman. He puts all the crime away. He doesn't need to shave. So
I thought the movie. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Whatever. Right. It's like, again, this is like a one-off cartoon type thing, right? The whole
Keaton had a beard, right?
I don't.
Keaton had a beard in the Flash, right? After
I
crime
guess.
went away.
Yeah. He did. He had the old man beard. He kind of looked more like Oliver Queen from Dark Knight Returns than he did Batman right there. He had that shaggy gray beard. But this movie, I did think did a fantastic job of honoring Batman in all different types of aspects and genres as well. Like it's made with a lot of love. Like they did a lot with Batman and Robin in a positive sense that usually gets poked fun of in like a negative way. I thought they did it in a very neutral and positive way in this movie. We see rocket penguins. There's so many references. It's almost as good, I think, at referencing certain live action elements as the Lego Batman movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, what stands out for you guys? Is there any scene like everyone just flat out when those rocket penguins hit the screen? I friggin' lost it. Like I jumped for joy.
It seems like there was more to the two Burton films and the two Schumacher films than anything else. I mean, there was a little more from. There was a little bit from Christopher Nolan's stuff, but I mean, everything from the ice skates are silly, and
that was very early on, and right after that, it was like a roller coaster of Batman and Robin.
right. And then like they had the 97 suit in the with the 4 suits in the cave. That was obviously that one.
It was interesting the 4 suits that they chose. I was surprised that George has been getting a little bit of love lately since the Flash. So
yeah,
it was nice to see that blue suit get in there. Mike, was there anything from your favorite Batman movies that you saw pop up in Merry Little Batman?
I'm with Patrick. It seems like they referenced the Schumacher Burton films more than anything else. I did love the nipple suit, and seeing the nipple suit was awesome. Honestly, I kind of wish Damien would have just grabbed that one and worn that one for the whole movie, just to add to the ridiculousness. But I feel like it kind of referenced a lot of Christmas movies as well. Like it turned into Home Alone for a little bit, so it referenced more than just Batman
definitely,
movies. Definitely, a lot of like old Christmas movies as well.
I thought the movie really sold like through the teases and everything, the Home Alone aspect, and that wasn't even half the movie. It was one of the more enjoyable parts of the movie. Like I love that scene of that whole sequence of Damien in the dark and him just beating the crap out of them, and then them showing, and then the criminals showing the Joker the video of Damien kicking their ass, and it looks like Batman. And I was like, that's how you get the Joker in there. I loved how that Home Alone aspect bled into what is a really good Batman Christmas tale. Because after that, it just turns into just straight up comic book madness, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it seems like they made that one, the 2 original criminals. They're obviously referencing Harry and Marv from Home Alone, and he's one of them's British, and I'm pretty sure they made him. I was wondering why he was British. Yeah,
his accent's great. I love
it. Is great, but they made him great just so he understood what Alfred's dish was, because he brings that up at one point. And I'm like, did they really make this guy British just so he would understand and comprehend the old English breakfast Christmas tradition?
I've been wanting to try jellied eels for like 3 years now since I've heard of them. It seems like something I would eat on Christmas Eve during my 7 fishes like extravaganza. Like it just seems like it would fit in. So I'm very curious as to what it tastes like. I remember I used to talk to Tom McClellan about it, and he did not like. He didn't talk so positively about jellied eels. Apparently, it's not like a fan favorite in England. But when I heard that, I busted out laughing just to myself, because I was like, I had this inside joke. But yeah, I thought the British criminal, and I think her name was Francine, they were hysterical for the 15 minutes of fame. Like I love just watching them just get their ass kicked. It was amazing, especially when grease fire. I thought that was funny too. The Joker loved that part. Patrick, how did you feel about this whole Home Alone element to the movie?
Well, I love Terry. He was my favorite favorite character in the whole movie. And his line, "Is it a crime to document our crimes?" That one killed me.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So much humor in it, and I loved it. You say you mentioned the vegetable oil torch that he made. I remember watching the whole thing, thinking this is a Damien I can get behind. And as soon as he did that, I said, "Oh, that's the Damien I know. He's going to burn these people alive."
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. Like, I think Damien has kind of gone on this like mega transformation over the past couple of years. The character I used to not like at all, but recently, I want to say since like Batman Ninja, they've really kind of changed that character, and he's actually a lot more enjoyable than he's been in the past. So so it's really interesting what DC has done with Jason Todd and Damian over the past couple of years, and making them like huge fan favorites. It might get me excited for whatever that Brave and Bold Batman might be, but like this might be the best version of Damian I've ever come across. I just find him really enjoyable and almost wholesome. Like he's just not an obnoxious little puke, basically.
Right.
Like that Grant Morrison Damian is like, I hate him.
Yeah,
really
I'm with you there. That was a complete turnoff when I started reading about Damian way in the past. This one and the one from the Brave and the Bold episode Knights of Tomorrow are real similar in that wholesome aspect you're talking about, and I really appreciate it. This is the Damian I can get behind without a doubt.
Micah, what are your thoughts on Damian Wayne?
He's not an edgelord for once. He's just energetic, and he's definitely a kiddo, and he's definitely Batman's son, which is all he wants to be. I like him a lot. We can get into overall thoughts about the movie, which
yeah, please get right into it.
So I mean, I thought it was a pleasant film. I don't have any kids right now, and it's obvious that
you've got a dog. You're a dog dad.
I guess I'm a dog dad. She did watch the movie with me. I couldn't tell if she was enjoying it or not. She was asleep, so I don't know what that means. But it's definitely a family movie. It's definitely oriented for fathers and their sons, and what a son wants to be. This take on Batman. All I was thinking about the whole time is that if Garrett Grev was Batman, this would be how he
you read my mind. Absolutely. This is it. This is for him and the boys to watch Sunday evening after football, right? Like I'm telling you, that's it. Hot chocolate, the Grevs all on one couch. That's exactly the target audience. This is, if Garrett was a superhero, it would be this movie. Exactly. You just hit a home run there, pal.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I enjoyed the movie overall. I do think it's obviously targeted for younger audiences. When you have a kid as the protagonist like Damian is, that's kind of meant to be the steward of the story. A kid can like put themselves in that position, and having Damian not be an annoying asshole and be happy and optimistic and energetic is great, and I like that aspect of the film. It just maybe just Christmas doesn't do it for me anymore. It's just Christmas movies they just don't get me anymore. I'm not festive. Maybe I will be when I have kids and I watch this again one day, but I don't know.
Did you at least put up a Christmas tree? Like, what was wrong with you? You
I got nothing, dude.
Not even a wreath?
Not even a wreath.
Wow, you just see, I told you he was a Scrooge. This guy's he's like a vampire. He's sucking all the Christmas joy out of me right now.
Too cool for school, Micah.
I guess so. Apparently, I don't know. It's like you could take a photo of my room at any point in the year, and you would have no idea. Like,
I would have guessed it's the 4th of July.
Guess. Yeah, with the flags. Yeah. What about you, P? What did you think overall?
Man, honestly, I had a blast with this thing from start to finish. Like it all, as I just watched the movie, it all just clicked. Like the age of the villains was a kind of a shocker to me the first time I saw them, but because most of the movie they're pretty old looking. I mean, we're just gonna talk spoilers. We're just gonna talk free about the movie. But like once I realized, like, oh well, that kind of makes sense. If Batman as a kid, he's older, he cleaned up Gotham. Like I dig that aspect. It's kind of Rises, Dark Knight Returns. Like Batman wasn't needed, right? He did it. I guess you could say that was also in the Flash as well. Like he did it. He did his job. He cleaned up Gotham, and now it's a safe place for him to raise his family. Like it's kind of a cool idea. Because usually Batman's miserable and crime never ends, and he just goes out there and I got to keep the oath. I have to keep the crusade. He just plows through. Normally Batman's just a plow. He just fights, just goes right through everything. And here he's he did what he was supposed to do. So it's a cool concept to start off with, and then crime comes back. Like the Joker, of course it's the Joker. He orchestrates a plan. He gets the gang back together. They're all senior citizens. When Oswald popped up, I laughed. I was like, I love old man Oswald. Are you kidding me? He's on that Razor scooter or whatever. Not a Razor scooter, but you know what I'm talking about? The fat scooter. Like, I was laughing my ass off. And then they go on that parade at the end. Oh, it was great. So I said I had fun with it. Like I was impressed how the movie changed. Like I'm glad it wasn't all Home Alone. I'm glad it kind of just turned into pure Batman. That was fun. Damien's characterization was on point for me. Like I love the new direction. The villains were interesting. Bane doesn't talk in this very much, so they went more 97 than they did Rises. Just it all really worked for me. This is just fun Christmas. Well, I could put it up there with Batman Returns and Shazam and just enjoy the hell out of this thing, to be honest with you.
It felt like I don't know if you guys have watched Harley Quinn or not, but it kind of evoked that tone a little bit, but just a more childish.
Yeah, probably Harley Quinn's probably like more NC-17, right? I guess if you had to rate it for television, it's definitely like the rated R version, TVMA, whatever they want to call it. I dig that. This is definitely, I would say, that's a good comparison. A toned down version, maybe a kid's version of this. I don't know if Pat watched that or not.
Oh, I've seen at least the first season of that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed this film, and I don't, Pete, you said at the beginning that there are a lot of people that had issues with it, and I don't understand that because
and they still do.
This is complete. This is complete Batman absurdity, which is why I love it. Movies that are in the theater of the absurd, like Airplane, like from 1980, that's my favorite type of humor.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it knows exactly what it is, and it knows exactly what it's doing. This is not supposed to be some dark and serious Batman movie that's going to, turn the tide of all the fans or anything like that. So I had a blast, and I'll tell you the line that really got me into it. I was like, at the beginning, I was like, I don't know what I think about this. As soon as he has the the Bat Dad suit on, and it says, "Are you trying to mute your dead father? Are you trying to mute your dead father?" I just bust a gut, man. I laughed so hard at that, man.
I'm with you, especially to the part where Damien goes, like, "Is that even an option?" He goes, "No." He's like, "Well, why'd you offer it?" I thought the dynamic between Damien and Bat Dad was probably the highlight of the movie. Like the fact that, I don't know, like. He's like, in a spiritual sense, your father's with you, right? Like,
exactly.
In terms of that, and you're like, wow. Like, I was like, man, this has really hit me in the feels. I was like, I did not expect this from like that opening scene, to be honest with you. I thought it was cool, the technology, how it shrunk, and then how it stuck with him the whole way. How Bat Dad had to be like, sacrificed in a sense. It all really worked for me, and Oswald was kind of at the helm of that, so that was even more special, to be honest with you. Like I was a big fan of Oswald in general in this movie.
Oh yeah. What did y'all think about the cast, the voice actors?
Luke Wilson as Batman is awesome. I think perfect casting for especially this type of almost suburban dad Batman. That's why I just think Garrett Grav for this take. Love Luke Wilson as Batman. Everyone else, it seemed like that was their first time ever playing any of these characters. Like, no, everyone sounded like I imagine they would sound, but a new voice at the same time, which was nice and fit the animation style as well for something else being new. But I mean, overall, I enjoyed the voice acting overall. What about you, Pete? Do you like the Penguin in there or what?
I love the Penguin. I did think it was interesting they went with Ivy over Catwoman for this. But like still the Ivy gave me a lot of like 66 vibes. If you watch Return of the Cape Crusaders, they have Merryweather and her name's escaping me. What's the other one's name? The other Catwoman. Newmar. They're both in it together. And that Ivy, she really gave me like 66 vibes. And I thought that was kind of cool. I don't really get that from watching, I guess, the actual movie itself. This cartoon kind of did it for me. So I thought that was interesting. In villain wise, I liked the little cameos of the Riddler and Scarecrow early on. I like those designs. I especially like the Scarecrow. The simple design for the Scarecrow always works for me. Even just the overalls, the flannel shirt and the hat. Like it does. I don't mind what Nolan did, and eventually that became more of a standard Scarecrow with just the mask and kind of like a suit. Like I get that aspect. If you want to do like a city psychology type, like professional Scarecrow. But I don't mind the old Wizard of Oz look to the Scarecrow. So that was enjoyable for me. At times just Bane just looked weird. I can't describe it any other way.
It's almost unsettling a little bit.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Deck.
Honestly, it's the only thing I would question them on. I enjoyed the take on the Joker. I thought the actor's name is escaping, but I thought he did a fantastic job sounding like a Joker that fits in this world.
David Hornsby.
Yeah, he did a good job. Like, it's tough being a Joker because just everyone defaults to Hamill animation wise, and then what's his name, Hale. He did a good. He's done the Joker a few times. He's played a very good Joker. There's been a lot of good animated Jokers, so it's a tough role to crack, live action or animation. I'm trying to think. The young boy played Damien did a fantastic job. Like he sounded perfect. He didn't. I knew it sounded like a kid. It didn't sound like a guy sounding like there's sometimes they'll get like a woman to sound like a young boy. I think they did that for like Rugrats or whatever. Back when I was a kid. I think even Bart Simpson is voiced by a woman. So like they can just get to that like vocal tone easier, but he sounded like a young boy. And I thought that was cool. They actually got somebody a little bit older than Damien, but definitely a kid.
Have y'all ever seen that cartoon Chowder?
No.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. Cartoon Network.
They have a kid who voices supposed to be a child in the show. And at first I thought this was the same kid. It sounded so childlike and great. And this guy, Jonas, who voiced Damien, I thought he stole the show. He was fantastic.
Yeah. I'm really impressed with Damien overall. Just like he's such a much more enjoyable character the way they've been doing him. I don't know what it was, but that just like punk ass Damien just didn't work for me.
Let me ask you: Do you prefer the Damien who was birthed by Catwoman over Talia? Because it seems like that's where the wholesome comes from. If he's raised by the League of Shadows, he's an a-hole.
If you're is that what we're saying? Like, is this supposed to be Catwoman's son?
I believe so, with the nod to Selena. And they said I had the same thought. Well, because they didn't actually say it.
Because Bruce mentions his mother very, very in like the training video, he's like, she was a fox, and then he fast forwards it. So like, I assumed he was talking about Talia. I just did. I don't think because they even went as far as to tell you that Nightwing's in the universe, right? When the deck of cards comes out for the emergency contacts,
right.
The movie, Nightwing's there. So Dick Grayson's out there. This isn't, the first young boy that Bruce Wayne is taking care of. They didn't change continuity too much. So I don't know. Like, until you tell me, I'm going to default to what I really know. How many other instances of Catwoman being Damien's mother are there? Because this is actually kind of new to me. In
that other Brave and the Bold episode I was referencing, I believe Catwoman is the mom. The Knights of Tomorrow.
Okay.
Where Damien grows up, becomes the next Batman, I believe.
I've never watched that. I'll have to watch. That's interesting. That's
it's fantastic
production. I'm surprised he changed continuity like that.
Well, you have to see it to see how it plays out.
Yeah,
it's not exactly what you think, but it's fantastic.
Okay.
I believe they were going to put Catwoman in this, but couldn't or didn't make it, or it was messing up the dynamic, so they left her out. As I was reading some of the production on it, but I thought,
what are you guys talking about? Catwoman's in the movie. Selena's there.
Selina's there, yes. That's why. That's why I thought it was interesting to like pay a nod to such a huge character like that in such a way. I found it odd in the movie, but the movie was so entertaining for me. I didn't really think too much of it at the time.
I thought that was the giveaway with the cat being named Selena, and we never got Talia or even.
Do people like name their pets after their mothers, like when they live with their parent? That's interesting.
That's kind of weird, but yeah.
Okay.
They do say that mom's a supervillain, right? Doesn't Damien say that?
Did I miss that?
Yep.
And then, yeah, he's like, but mom's a supervillain.
That could be Talia, though. Talia,
Bruce does have that Talia tattoo on him. He shows his chest and it's all like deformed and gross.
Oh, really?
There's a Talia tattoo on his. Yeah,
I didn't catch that. I was more throwing up when I saw the picture.
You gotta rewatch it a lot for certain things, like something like that. You're like, oh, this is like the gross part of animation, but it's like, no, there's Easter eggs in there. You know?
Yeah.
Like the emergency contacts. It's funny what they have there, but I definitely caught Nightwing. But
Hey y'all, it's Bill Ramey, founder of Batman on Film. Let's take a quick pause in this podcast for these words from our sponsor.
One of the contacts was Death Ray. You saw that? Just Death Ray. That's the one that made me laugh. Death Ray.
But the Catwoman stuff, I totally over my head. This is actually the first I'm hearing.
Same.
So I appreciate your keen eye there, Pat.
Well, it's not. I guess it's open to interpretation. It's not exactly said, so it could be either way. That's just the way I thought. Because if it was Talia, I'm thinking that he's going to be raised by the League of Shadows. This Damien obviously isn't.
Yeah, I mean, they don't give you a time frame either. That's
right.
How long he's been there.
And Batman knew he was going to have a child. That's why he cleaned up crime ahead of time, right? So he had to have known that either Talia or Catwoman was pregnant with his child.
I'm assuming Talia was pregnant and then he kidnapped Damien to save him. Like, that's what I'm going to go with. I know that sounds horrible the way I phrased it, but you know what I mean.
Well, all bets are off with this movie, so that definitely could have happened.
Yeah, to be honest, if they did a sequel to this, this is the thing. Like, I like it as a standalone Christmas movie. Like, I don't know if you can. How long? I don't know if you keep the Christmas theme. I don't know if you keep the holiday theme and go forward. I wouldn't mind like an Easter-esque sequel if we're following holidays. I don't know, like or Thanksgiving, I guess, would probably be the more natural selection of a holiday, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but
yeah,
for me, like the one-off Christmas story really works really well.
This is to set up a series, right?
I heard that they were going forward with the series. Yeah, I've heard rumors about it like secondhand. I didn't read it in an article. Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I believe that's it. I know it's going to incorporate the Bat family, but I believe it's going to be all the same characters that we have here, and then they're going to add a bunch. Obviously.
All right, okay, I'd be down for that. I'd check it out. Like, I kind of learned my lesson from Brave and the Bold. Patrick, you talk very highly about it. The editor-in-chief, Bill, talks very highly about Brave and the Bold, which is funny because I pop in the first episode and it's Batman and Blue Beetle, and I'm like, how does Jet like this? Like, it just doesn't seem like something he did. But a lot of people love Brave and the Bold. I've given a rewatch. I have to like watch an entire season or whatever, but I've watched episodes, and some are like I dig more than others. I definitely kind of like my Batman more solo and more serious. But that's why, like, I think the one-off aspect of this would be really good for me. But if it's going to be a series, I guess I'd tune in every now and then. It probably wouldn't be a consistent like rewatch. It depends on like when it's really airing, because I do try to watch all. I mean, for Christ's sake, I watch Batwoman. I reviewed Batwoman for the website. Like, I'll probably end up watching this and just taking it for what it is. But I don't know, Micah, would you watch this as a series? Would you be down for something like that? I mean, it's happening.
Yeah, so. Sure. Yeah. If they dived even more into the goofiness, I think they should turn up the goofiness even more. Like, just go even more into it.
You want to go full Harley Quinn?
I love Harley Quinn. I mean, I think Harley Quinn gets better as it goes on. I adore that show. I think it's
I'm with
honestly
you.
Some of the best stuff DC Animation's done, for real. But I'd love to see a sequel about Mother's Day and
okay, that's cool. I like
a story about a child dealing with divorced parents with his, that sounds awesome.
I mean, when you say it like that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
It sounds like The Parent Trap. Like, if you want something like The Parent Trap, I guess, right? I don't know.
That'll probably be an episode of the show. I think that'd be interesting, a Mother's Day episode, and kind of figure out who it is. Because Patrick, when you brought up Catwoman, I never even thought about it. I just thought like the only reference of Catwoman would just be the cat, Selena, which I thought that was hilarious.
That's pretty much where it went for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I assume Talia from the beginning, but I guess it really doesn't matter. But I do like Damien being raised by Batman, but I'd watch a show. Yeah, I'd watch it for sure.
This is certainly an alternate universe, Batman for this show. So, either way, it could be Talia, it could be Catwoman.
Yeah, I mean, the movie almost feels like it's episodes, like it's split up in episodes. You have the intro, and then you have the Home Alone section, then you have the Christmas store section, and then with the chase with Penguin, then you have like the zoo, and it's all split up, and then the Batman fighting Mr. Freeze. Like it all almost seems like, and
it's all split up, just like Zack Snyder's Justice League. It each has a chapter.
Wow, I thought we'd make it to this episode without bringing it up. I really thought. The streak
What did y'all think
continues.
about the woodcut sequence they did for the animation, the black and white?
That was awesome. That was my favorite. Artistically, that was my favorite part of the movie.
It
Yeah.
stands out because of what it represents and how it ends, with Damien and Alfred. And then you're just kind of like, I'm like, oh wow, like this is it's drastically different because of the tone of it. Like it's its own like thing, right?
Yeah.
It's meant to be serious. You're supposed to focus. Right?
Yeah,
It catches your
absolutely.
eye because you go from being bright and colorful to black and white.
Right. And he's hit his, his Damien, not rock bottom, but he's scared and he doesn't know what to do. And so it's all black and white. It's either good or bad. And I thought it was fantastic. And I wished more of the movie was like that. But I totally see your point as to why it stands out and why it was so short and sweet.
Mhm.
But it totally reminded me of German Expressionism and Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and just all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah,
right
I can
then
see what
and
you're
there.
talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also interesting seeing Damien. You mentioned it's basically at his low point. Throughout most of the
Yeah.
movie, Damien's riding this huge high of superhero. I could do this. Like he almost thinks of like he's a teenager when he first gets his license, right? You think you're invincible. You can do whatever you want. You can go do whatever you want. I say that as a 37-year-old man. I know what this is like. Micah hasn't reached that point yet. He's still very young. But like you just you think you're this free bird, and then all of a sudden like life hits you hard, and you're like,
Right.
whoa, okay, and then you realize like I need somebody with experience to talk to because I clearly have no idea what I'm doing, and that's where Alfred steps in. And he's like, oh, here's like, let's get you a cup of hot chocolate, and we'll talk about how much trouble you're in. It's not,
Alfred, it took just an excessive amount of time to go to the grocery store. Did he not? How long does it take that man to get to the grocery store and back?
Well, how far is Wayne Manor from the local convenience store?
14
Apparently
miles,
really far.
according to the Batman 66 thing, right? Gotham City.
I guess you're right. I guess I don't know. That's a valid point. I mean, does he inspect the marshmallows? What kind of marshmallows does he buy? Does he buy like Wayne Enterprise or like Wayne Produce? Like, are they Wayne marshmallows? Does he like support the cause?
He came out of a store called Brady's. Was that a nod to anything? Brady's?
Tom.
That's where you got the marshmallows. Tom Brady. Yeah.
I don't know.
Tom Brady.
Just someone's a big Pats fan over there at the animation studio. I have no idea. But I do want to try making hot chocolate like Alfred. I did pick that up.
With the like taking a chocolate bar and
Yeah,
dicing
like
it up.
grinding it
and-
up. I was like, can I put this in
yeah.
the meat grinder? Like, will that work? Can I measure it out? I thought that was pretty funny. So I thought that was interesting, but
Were there any Easter eggs that popped out to you guys as I mean, obviously there's nods to everything, but like an actual like Easter egg that you caught? There were a couple I caught and was just
like
curious
some
if
really
you-
good hidden ones. Not really. I mean, there's things that like surround Easter eggs, like Mr. Freeze in general was a pleasant surprise. Like them trying to impersonate Arnold was just a treat for me. And the fact that he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt because they just like plucked him out of vacation in
Right.
Florida, right? Like or whatever. Like I love that. The Bat Pod sequence with when Damien can't drive the car. And at some point it just splits and turns into the Bat Pod, and then Alfred actually references it as the Bat Pod later on in the movie. That was nice. That parade sequence just screams 89 to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what were some things that you guys enjoyed in that term?
There was during in the toy store sequence when they all start fighting over the belt, there's a gentleman that spills coffee on himself and says terrific. And that was Carmine Infantino. And they used audio from an old interview he gave to put in there to say terrific.
I wondered what that was because it kind of stands out. You're like, this seems weird. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Is that character designed to look like Carmine?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's tremendous. Good
Yeah.
for him.
Wow.
He deserves it. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Wow, that's impressive. I picked up a trade. I think it was DC Archives edition. It was for Flash. It was like volume 2, and it's signed by Carmine Infantino.
Oh wow.
I was lucky enough to buy it, just secondhand like that. So I think it's made out to like Steve.
Okay, well you can be Steve.
I was like, hey,
It's
I
close
don't
to Pete.
there's two E's in there. That's great. I didn't know that they did stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like you could tell there's a lot of heart in this movie. Like this
Absolutely.
is a love letter to Batman that is just honestly, we haven't actually seen anything like this. I've said it before, since Lego Batman. Like, it's that good. Patrick Stump also did the music for this movie. He did the music for Lego Batman as well. That wasn't sung by Will Arnett. He was the Batman singing voice, but so they actually have that in common.
And the music was great. The score and all the pop songs that were in there, like the Vandals and everything.
Yeah, like Little John.
Little John.
That was funny too. That really caught me. That really caught me off guard. I really like the sequence when Batman's cleaning up Gotham, and it's like heavy metal when it's like crime ridden, and then it turns to like Beethoven when it's Utopia. Like, I enjoyed that sequence. The musical number that they played about like just little rich boys in the beginning of the movie, I thought that was just ironic and funny. I dug that. Like, they had me laughing from the opening scenes of this movie. Like, it's that fun. I'm laughing the whole time. Like, this is great, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought there was a little something for everybody in there, whether it be the music or the story, or I thought it was just firing on all cylinders. Once like I said, it took me a second, but once I got into it, I was like, okay, I'm all in at this point.
I want to know what Micah doesn't like. That's what I'm really kind of waiting for.
Yes,
he's sitting
give us
there,
the bad.
He's twirling around. He's holding back a little bit. I know he's got some hot takes. Come on, like, he's sitting there, he's smiling. It looks like I can't tell anymore. There's no stash, but
Well, I wouldn't say I'm really negative on it. I'm just not necessarily high on it. I thought it was all right. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not offensive. I don't think it's anything brilliant. I'm a huge fan of the Lego Batman movie. I mean, I think it's one of the great. If you love Batman, you don't like the Lego Batman movie, something's wrong.
I agree.
And I don't know. It's very similar to the Lego Batman movie.
Is it the holiday theme that really throws you off?
I don't. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe. I don't know. I just think the Lego Batman movie hit me a little bit more positively. I mean, I don't dislike this movie whatsoever, but it's also I don't hold it in like I wouldn't say it's a Batman. I wouldn't say it's a classic. You know, like maybe you watch this. I feel like you would watch this at a very specific time. Like, you're watching this during Christmas. Like, now we have another Batman Christmas movie to go with Returns, if you consider that a Christmas movie. So that's
Can you not
nice
get into Christmas with the Joker?
Christmas with the
From
animated
BTAS
series.
Yeah, just curious.
I can more than that than this. I mean,
because the length,
but still, yeah, the length. It's just short. This almost felt like I was kind of thinking like this kind of felt like this was a short, like kind of like an animation short idea, and they extended it out into a film.
Maybe
to me,
I mean, I've seen crazier things.
Because my favorite part of the movie, besides artistically, my favorite part is the scene Patrick mentioned with Damien being scared. But my favorite part of the movie is the Home Alone sequence. And honestly, I didn't watch any trailers for this movie. I knew of it, but I wasn't like particularly too interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was going to be the movie. Like, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. It's just all Home Alone, like
That's
Damien Home Alone. But you know, and it goes other places. I don't think it's worse because of that, but it's just I just think for me personally, in my taste, like it just didn't like hit as hard as it did for y'all, which doesn't make it a bad movie. You know, it's just for me and my taste personally, like it didn't really, you know, I wouldn't say it's great. I'd say it's good. It's a good movie.
Was there something particularly story style? I don't know. Like, what about
it's nothing really that stood out.
No,
it's like,
just a little bit of
to
everything.
me. It was just all like it wasn't like it dipped. Like there any like high. Like there's some certain highs and there's not really any lows for me. But it kind of just felt like, you know, it's good. It just kind of hovered at that good level the entire movie, and it didn't for me like some of the, you know, the character arc moments, like with Damien throwing the utility belt, you know, learning about sacrifice as well. You know, that's like that goes up a little bit for me, but it just didn't really like the parts in the Lego Batman movie really worked for me. And I'd consider that movie to be great. I would consider this to be good, not bad at all, but not great. And that's pretty much where I'm at on that.
I think that's fair. That's fair. That's not you. I was expecting to come out here more like hot take Twitter talk. That's a very fair review. It's a very fair review. I can't argue with that. Okay. I mean, I just I don't know. Maybe it's the Christmas spirit. Maybe I got a little too much candy cane in me, but I'm just vibing with it right now. You know, but I can see what you're saying. I can't see myself popping this in on like Labor Day. Like, oh man, I gotta watch some Batman. You know what? Merry Little Batman's gonna hit this. You know, it's definitely a
Yeah.
seasonal thing, and I don't mind that, But something like Batman Returns, I could definitely pop in whatever. I mean,
No,
for me,
I don't believe that.
that's I love that movie. I love that movie. I
Well, I have
do.
a question for Micah.
Yes,
Micah,
sir.
how would you compare the humor in Lego Batman movie to the humor in Merry Little Batman? Because if you prefer that, I was curious if the humor hit on a different level, or is it, what would you say?
That is a really good question because they are similar. Would you also agree that they're similar, like humor wise,
Oh, sure.
or do you find a difference
No. I
yourself?
think you're right on. I thought about Lego Batman as I watched this. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Maybe it was just the jokes themselves, Patrick. Maybe it was just, because I didn't find myself laughing as much as Pete was talking about. I chuckle. There's a lot of chuckles throughout this
Right.
movie. There wasn't really a laugh out loud moment for me in the movie. And maybe that's why it hovers in that good. But then in the Lego Batman movie, like whenever he's microwaving the lobsters, like I'm crying laughing. And he's talking about clown snakes, I'm crying laughing. And when he turns around and hits Alfred and he shoves him into the piano and he falls down, like I'm crying laughing. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me, like it's just a me thing. It's not like
I think what you miss is Will Arnett. You sound like you miss his like comedic timing.
Will Arnett was phenomenal. I mean, I love
agree.
Luke Wilson as Batman in this. I think he's perfect for this version of Batman, but Will Arnett in that is just amazing.
I agree with you. Yeah.
And they are very similar, Patrick. I don't know. I think it's just me. It's just me. It's, that's not anything wrong with me or the films, if you prefer one or the other.
There's plenty wrong with you, but there's nothing wrong with how you view this film.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with how I view it. Personally, literally me, a lot wrong.
You're a mess.
Absolute mess. Don't ask me for any other advice than to talk about Batman movies. But yeah, Patrick, what about you? How do you feel?
Now when we leave the podcast, I'm going to be like, well, maybe Mike is right. Maybe I should hate this movie.
So you should watch it again.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to see the light. No, I thought it was on par with the Lego Batman movie. I think Lego Batman was more like hit you over the head as much as possible with as much humor. Yeah. And the jokes were a little more spaced out with this one, but I thought they were on about the same level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like for instance, when Damien walks in to that department store in his costume, and that starts his like reign of terror. For me, I'm laughing the whole way. From like, hello, don't worry, citizens. Like he acts like he's Batman, and like he's like just him grappling up like 70 flights of stairs to talk to Santa Claus. I laughed at stuff like that. So like for me, they got me like hook, line, and singer. And then the moment like when he sees the dad and the son with the donut. Like that got me because it brings you back. There was a lot of times where like it goes full circle. Like, okay, boom, memory back to Damien. He thinks of at the table with the jelly eels and him and his dad. Like there was I had a lot of that where it made me go back and remember something from the beginning of the movie, and it just like it really got to me in the emotions there.
But, I just think not having Michael Cera in this movie is what did it. I just realized, Patrick, it's Michael Cera. That was the key to the success.
So we should have had Cera as Damien and Arnett as Batman, and this would have been a bona fide. This would have made Ramey review.
No secret camera.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when they announced Lego Batman, I was terribly afraid that Robin was going to be like a huge joke. And he wasn't. Like, it's just, again, you could tell when something's put, then there's a lot of love put into something, because it's like this guy gets it. He knows what exactly to make fun of and what to kind of bring to light in a certain sense. And I think the creative team behind this Merry Little Batman just knows exactly what the pulse of the Bat fan is, to be brutally honest. Like they are one of us. The creators of this are one of us. They know exactly what we want to make fun of, and they have some common sense. So I just, again, as is the Lego Batman movie, I am just in awe of this film, just to be honest, because it's like love letter. The guys get it. It hits on everything. And again, the only negative I have is Bane. That's it, just the way he looks. But outside of that, like it's the rest of the movie to me is so good, I can't really complain.
Well, you speak of Bane. The way I saw the whole movie really is everything is exaggerated times 1,000. So if Bane's a big guy, he's going to be larger than life. Damien is so small. They even make him like, I don't even know he comes up to Bruce Wayne's knee. So they even make him like exaggeratedly small, just everything. So, but I see what you're saying there.
But at some points, Bane's like even King Kong. He's like climbing up wall. That's Damien's riding the roller coaster. Like there's just things like that I'm just laughing at. I have some good chuckles at it. So I mean, I just had a blast with this thing. I love this Christmas movie.
I'll tell you one more instance I had was almost a spit take on my part is right before Damien goes through his the black and white sequence. There's a guy that comes up to him and says, "Kid, get out of here. Nothing is safe anymore." And he immediately hijacks a car, instantly drives it into something and explodes. I almost fell off the couch, man. Because
that's got to be a cameo of somebody, right?
Yeah, it kind of looked almost like Danny DeVito. I would love as the Penguin. I know it's not it, but that's my thought. But that totally reminded me of Pee Wee Herman in Pee Wee's Big Adventure on the motorcycle. As soon as he takes off, he drives through the sign.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
That was funny. It's just kind of like the Carmine cameo. It just came out of nowhere. I'm like, what is this? But this ends in like this huge laugh. So,
right.
I really enjoyed this thing. I don't know. I guess you guys want to do final thoughts? Get it over with.
Sure.
Seem like you're ready to go. All right, boys. Final thoughts. Merry Little Batman.
Micah, you go ahead.
Okay. Pete, I think you had a good little wrap up there earlier when you said it's a love letter to Batman fans, and it is. And the people making this do understand what Batman fans like and what to make fun of. And I am a fan of the animation. I haven't heard anything negative about it, but I can definitely see Pete.
Well, you have a life. You're not on Twitter.
you have like 7 fake Twitter accounts where you just your ears to the ground. I think that's how you use it.
It's all true.
But I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. They're going with an exaggerated type of tone. Why not have exaggerated animation? And I think it all works for the movie. And I enjoyed the voice acting and the takes on these characters and the artistic directions and the story overall. Maybe it's just because it's a Christmas movie and just some of the jokes didn't like really, hit me in the funny bone. But I enjoyed it overall. I can't see myself watching this soon, like anytime soon. I'd like to watch it again one day, if I have a kiddo of my own. I think I'd like to watch it again, but for a while, I'll just put this one on the shelf and maybe pull it back out during if I'm feeling festive. What about you, Patrick? What are your overall thoughts?
Why didn't you tell me you were a father? I thought we were friends.
That's pretty good. You sound good there.
No, I loved it. I did not expect to love it. When I initially saw the trailers, I had a very meh response. I was like, but they held back all the good humor for the movie. And I don't have any complaints. I thought the music was fantastic. I thought the animation, it reminded me a lot of, I said Squiggle Vision earlier, but Mike Roth, is that the director? Is that the name?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, Mike Roth. He did the regular show, which is, I started to see some of the animation style with that, and it reminded me of a Drinky Crow and the Misadventures of Flapjack, all that stuff from Cartoon Network. I thought it was great. The writing was good. Casting was fantastic. I didn't have any complaints. So I would like to find out more about what people are complaining about. If it's just the animation, I could get that because it's not for everyone.
That's been the big complaint from what I've been reading and hearing from other people.
Okay. Yeah, I would grade this like an A, and I don't have a problem, and I will stand by that. I had such a good time. I told my wife, because she was hesitant about watching it. She was at work and I was texting her and I was like, this is actually pretty damn funny. And so she came home that night and watched it instantly. And she was happy that it was enough in there for kids and adults to have a good time.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I'm with Pat. I from start to finish, this movie's a blast. Yeah, I'd say if you are concerned about the animation, don't be. The story is very good, and it all kind of clicks at some point as you watch the film. It all just makes sense. I think it's a great addition to your holiday library. It just the message overall is fun, written for fans by fans. These guys hit a home run in my opinion. Like, this is aces. I can't speak highly enough about this. I'm interested to see what they do on a series basis. to see if they can keep it up. That'd be interesting. There's one thing to do it in a movie like this, but to keep it going and keeping the success rolling, that's very tough to do in this day and age when there's so much to distract an audience. So quality definitely beats out quantity, as it seems like the studios are finally learning. But I think this is top-notch quality Batman overall. This is great for all fans. I hope people can look past the animation and just really give this a fair shot. And I'm happy just to add it to the watch list. I hope it comes out on Blu-ray. I'd love to buy it. This way I have the physical copy. Really help support it because I enjoyed it that much. If Mr. McFarlane wants to make a figure, I'd probably buy a Penguin one. I don't know if he's going to get there, but he's too busy jokerizing everything he makes already. So, but overall, I'm with Pat. I think it's up there with Lego Batman. I give it a very high grade. I'll give it a solid A. Seasonal Batman. It hits all the notes. So, I want to thank you guys for coming on. This was a blast. I'm happy that I could get a crew together. You guys came in clutch. Everyone's busy running around this time of the year, so I'm happy that I was able to get one Scrooge, and Micah filled the bill. And he's a character. Let me tell you, this guy.
It wasn't that bad of a Scrooge.
He's not Jake, but he's not bad either, guys.
Oh God,
I love my boy Jake. Why don't we plug away? We'll start with Pat.
Well, if you like music, especially moody rock music, alternative music, you can check out the C-Flats, THESEAFLATS, or you can find him on Instagram at PatrickJohnson75.
Micah?
you know where to find me, I think. So it'll be somewhere in the description on BOF. So if you want to find me, go.
A man of mystery.
A man of many talents.
There you go. All right. If you're looking to follow me, you can follow me on social media at Pete Illustrated. If you like this podcast and you want to follow something similar, consider following Straight Outta Gotham. I do that with Eric Colesman at straight_O_G on Instagram and Twitter, X, whatever it's called. We do have a Facebook group and a Facebook fan page. Consider following both. If you like Spider-Man, check out my other podcast, Italian Spider-Man Coalition. That's on Twitter at Spidey Coalition. New handle. Change things up. Make it a little more neutral. BatmanOnFilm.com, Batman on Film YouTube. I'm all over both those places. Check that out. I did a podcast earlier with Ryan Haas. We covered Batman Returns, One Dark Christmas Eve. That book came out earlier last year, I think. We did that show. That was fun. So we're continuing the Batman Christmas themes. I tried to get Aquaman going. I couldn't do it. Kowalski bailed on me. He's too busy. I mean, he's got kids and a wife. I don't know why I can't find time for me. So I had to pivot, and I went with Batman Christmas. So everyone's a lot more happy. So once again, thank you for listening to the Batman on Film podcast. Ready, boys? Authoritative, definitive. Damn, Rachel. Right, boys. Announcer Rachel's going to take us out.
You've been listening to the original and official podcast of the Batman on Film website. Follow BOF on Threads at the Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jet and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original. Batman on Film, founded in 1998.